Good morning. This is Kent Morlan. Actually, it's afternoon. This is Kent Morlan with More Law TV and morelaw.com. I am here today having a conversation with Scott James, who is an attorney in, of all places, Custer, South Dakota. How are you doing today, Scott?
Doing good today, Mr. Morlan. How are you?
Let me see. What is Custer named after?
Named after General Custer.
Yeah, well, he
Came
made
here and found some gold.
That's right. Okay. And so you're practicing in Custer, South Dakota. And what kind of practice do you have there?
Well, this is a rural practice, so we take a little bit of everything, as long as it's not something that gets us in trouble. But a little bit. We do criminal law a lot, but we do family law. We do estate planning. We would do business formation or contracts, any kind of civil disputes. We can handle those type of matters. So I'm not going to do bankruptcies, not going to do tax law or patent law, those kind of things. But anything else that's reasonable coming in the door that's not, a specialty area, we would be willing to handle.
Well, you're not a real young guy. How long have you been practicing?
Well, I've been an attorney for about 15 years. I was in Kansas before I was here, so I was a prosecutor in Kansas for many years. I was the gang prosecutor in Dodge City, Kansas, for about 5 or 6 years, which is an interesting job. So
I bet.
yeah, I don't scare easy. I'm used to eyeballing gang members in the face in court, who don't like me very much. So that's kind of where I came from. But then I was also the county attorney in a neighboring county called Kiowa County, a town called Greensburg, that had the distinction of being wiped out by EF5 tornado back in 2007. We had to rebuild it from scratch, and so we had to. There's a lot of interesting legal challenges that came along with that. But that's kind of what I've been doing there. And then I moved. My wife and I decided to relocate up here to South Dakota. Her parents wanted to retire in this area, and we wanted our kid to be close to his grandkids or his grandparents. So we moved up here to be close to them. And then I took a job with the Oglala Sioux Tribe in Pine Ridge, South Dakota, where I was their attorney general for 4 years, which was an interesting time as well. And then I have now opened this practice in Custer.
Right. Now, you're one county south of Pennington County, correct?
That's right.
And that's where Rapid City is?
Yes, sir. So
and there's a
Custer,
federal
about
district.
40-minute drive from Rapid. So you got to go through the state park, though, a little bit of windy road, but that's how we get there.
All right. Well, as I understand, there's a federal district courthouse in Rapid City where a lot of Indian law cases are litigated. Isn't that true?
That's true. Yeah. The feds have jurisdiction over anything that's considered to be a major crime under the Major Crimes Act for Indian law. And so anything that's if it's a homicide, if it's a rape, if it's a sex crime against a child, if it's a theft over I think 25,000, which doesn't happen a lot because, to be frank, they don't have that much money to steal down there. But it's any of those cases that, even though they happen on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, that federal court takes jurisdiction over those cases if they're major crimes cases.
But
the other cases they have jurisdiction over would be ones where they have a diversity of victim and perpetrator. So if there is a native victim and a non-native perpetrator, even if it's a misdemeanor, they have jurisdiction over those
in federal court. Right?
Yes.
But if it doesn't occur on an Indian reservation, does the federal court still have jurisdiction under certain circumstances if a Native American is involved?
Well, sure. If the crime occurred off the reservation and it's a federal crime.
But if it's a state crime, what if it's
if it's a state crime? Then no. Then at that point, then the state would have jurisdiction. So,
right.
If it's a murder and it happens, in Rapid City, let's say, which is not on a reservation, then the Pennington County State's Attorney's Office is going to be the one prosecuting that case. It'll be happening in circuit court there in Rapid City.
Right. So you're available to represent people, Native Americans or non-Native Americans, who have Native American related legal issues and need some help. Would that be fair?
Sure. I think, I have a background doing that, and, being a soul, they call us Wasichu, is kind of the name for it in Sioux anyway. which is kind of what they say when you're a white outsider, And I survived as a Wasichu, in Pine Ridge for 4 years, which is, saying a lot.
So you're not Native American.
I'm not, no. Well, I don't want to claim it. I mean, if I go way back in my ancestry, I actually have some Creek, ancestry way back when.
Well, the
But
Creeks,
you have to go pretty far back to even, find that. But
yeah,
I'm not.
I'm sitting in the Creek Nation talking to
Are
you.
you? Okay.
Yeah, Tulsa is part of the Creek Nation, and the federal courts have jurisdiction over Native American related crimes because of a recent Supreme Court decision.
Right.
So anyhow, besides that, you do some family law together, right?
Yes, sir. That's there's a real void or gap in services in this area, in this rural area. There's just not a lot of people who are willing to do it. So there's just no, if somebody's got a situation here, they got to have somebody to provide that service,
Right. And you
just-
do
there's
personal injury, obviously,
I can
correct?
do personal injury. I've done those cases before. Yes, sir.
Now, where'd you go to law school, Scott?
Well, you can see right here, background here.
Well, I was noticing that.
Yeah, that's my
University of
pretty
Kansas.
diploma from the University of Kansas. So that's a picture of the they call it the Campanile building on the other side there. That's the World War I memorial in Lawrence, Kansas, to those veterans. But it's a tradition there. You walk the Campanile, you walk through it. But that law school is where I got my degree, and again, where I practiced for several years before coming up here. So
I have a nephew that went to Washburn University Law School, so you and he are sort of alumni together. All
Sure,
right.
yeah.
Well,
yeah, when I had to run for office, I ran for office in Western Kansas before I became county attorney. I won that contested election, and I was going door to door campaigning. One guy asked me where I went to law school. I told him University of Kansas. He says, "Well, why didn't you go to K-State?" That's the referee. I said, "Well, they don't have a law school." He goes, "Okay, well, good answer."
Well, I just made a misstatement. My nephew went to Washburn and you went to University of Kansas. Okay.
Right.
Now, is there anything else, if somebody finds this on the internet, is there anything you'd like to say to them if they want to call you, first of all, and engage your services? What would you say about yourself and the services you want to provide?
Well, I think that if they were interested in my services, what they're going to get is an attorney that I have a lot of experience under my belt for my years.
Right.
I did over 35 jury trials being a criminal practitioner in a short period of time. I did everything from homicides to traffic cases. I've seen the whole gamut of them. And I've been involved in civil cases too. I've taken appeals, all the way to the state Supreme Court of Kansas and prevailed, in several of those appeals. You can look up my name on the appellate websites. I've got, probably 10 to 12 published cases, in the state of Kansas. I don't have many here because I just got here, but that's something I don't scare easy. I'm willing to battle people, and I've got the kind of breadth of experience that I can usually figure out a good solution to any problem. And I'm not the kind of attorney that's going to waste people's time or money either. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in fighting just to fight. I think that there are a lot of cases are resolved by agreement for good reason. I'm not saying you should be a pushover, but you should realize when there's a good solution and take it. But also realize that there are battles that you have to fight, and you got to be able to recognize there are some attorneys out there that don't, either they're not willing to fight those battles, or they're too willing to fight those battles. Like they want to fight every battle. So it's really important to have an attorney who's balanced in that and is able to recognize that's a battle you want to fight and that's a battle you don't want to fight.
All right, very good. What's your telephone number, Scott?
It's area code 605-673-2503.
And do you have a website for your practice yet?
I do, yes. It's all very well branded here. I got southernhillslaw.com, and then my email is southernhillslaw@gmail.com.
All right, very good, very good. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me. Good success on your practice up there. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Morlan.